Hi guys, let's look at this RC. So the first paragraph tells us about a long held belief that pH was produced, peptide hormones were produced only in the hypothalamus region of the brain. The second paragraph tells us that this belief is being questioned now, and some methods are being used to detect these peptide hormones in areas other than hypothalamus. Second paragraph also tells me that this method has certain limitations. The third paragraph tells me that there is another method, method 2, molecular biology approach, which is far more effective. And both these paragraphs, paragraph 3 and 4, both of them tell us that method 2 is better than method 1, immunological method. And finally, the last paragraph tells me that if method 2 is successful, we will have to define the function of these hormones in the brain. This is how he ends this passage. Okay. Question number 1. What could be the summary of this passage? Is molecular biology the key to understanding method 2, that is method 2? Is it the key to understanding intercellular communication? No. It might be the key in detecting the peptide hormones. That's the gist of the passage. So A goes out. Molecular biology, can researchers exploit its techniques to synthesize peptide hormones? Again, a tempting choice, but wrong. We are talking about detecting peptide hormones using molecular biology and not synthesizing them. C says the advantages and disadvantages of the immuno approach. This is a short-sighted answer choice, partially correct. That's only partially correct. The passage does not only talk about the immuno approach, it also talks about second molecular biology approach. So it's not concentrated on advantages and disadvantages of immuno. C goes out. Peptide hormones, how scientists are attempting to solve the problems of their detection and understand their function comprehensively, covers the passage. So D is the correct answer. The passage suggests that a substance detected in the brain by the use of antiserums to peptide hormones may, in the second paragraph there was a line written, the last line, this immuno method cannot be used to determine the location in the body where the detected substance are actually produced. So it is possible that you detect the substance in one part of the body, but it has not been produced in that part, it has been produced elsewhere, which means C is the direct answer. Third, which is a drawback of the immuno method? Well, there are many drawbacks. So let's see which one of them we can find. It cannot be used to detect the presence of growth regulators in the brain. This part is not mentioned. It cannot distinguish between the peptide hormones and substances that are similar to them. Okay, second paragraph. This line says, cross reactions are possible, and the method, the immuno method, cannot determine whether the substances detected by the antiserums really are the hormones or merely close relatives, which means substances that are very similar cannot distinguish between them. B is the direct answer. The passage implies that in doing research on the rat brains, Rosen discovered, last line, some people have suggested that hormones are, all of them are growth regulators. But Rosen's work on the rat indicates that this cannot be true, which means Rosen has discovered that not all hormones are growth regulators. D. is the direct answer. Some peptide hormones do not function as growth regulators. Fifth, the immuno method differs from the molecular method in which ways? A says the immuno method uses substances that react with the products of hormone cells, while the molecular method uses substances that react with the specific component of the cells itself. So immuno method reacts with the products of hormone cells, while the molecular method reacts with the cells themselves. Okay. It is written in the third paragraph, if you look at it closely, that these specific complementary DNAs can be made, and they can act as the molecular probes by reacting with the brain cells, directly with the brain cells, binding to them, and then we can isolate these cells to identify peptide hormones. Therefore, this part, A, seems to be the correct answer. B says the immuno method has produced results consistent with long-held beliefs about the peptide hormones. To the contrary, the method has produced results which are contrary, because this was the belief as we talked about it. But these beliefs are being questioned, and immuno method has been used to question the belief. So it is not consistent, rather inconsistent with the beliefs. The immuno method requires a great deal of expertise, maybe, maybe not. Whereas the molecular method has been successfully used by non-specialists, nowhere mentioned in the passage. Immuno method can only be used to test for the presence of peptide hormones within the hypothalamus. To the contrary, it has detected outside the hypothalamus as well. Second paragraph is the key. So it also goes out. The idea that the field of endocrinology can gain from molecular biology is regarded by Roberts with. Second last paragraph, Robert says, expressing the sentiment of many researchers, Robert says, I was trained as an endocrinologist, but it became clear to me that the field of endocrinology needed molecular biology input. The other method is just too slow. Okay. So he's positive about, one thing is sure, he's positive about this approach. Incredulity goes out, derision goes out. He deals it with enthusiasm. Yes, maybe. With pride. Well, he is not a molecular biologist himself. So he would not deal with it, would not propose this with pride. He is rather an endocrinologist. So the correct answer is C. So these are the correct answers. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe for more. Bye-bye.